Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Drouin from the Department of Psychology. I'm a developmental psychologist, and presently I'm looking at the ways in which technology affects communication and relationship formation, along with how it affects student learning. In my laboratory, I usually have a team, an army of research assistants, and I think it's a really invaluable experience. I did it myself as an undergrad, and I think it gave me the most practical application of the concepts that I was learning in class, and as well, it prepared me for my later graduate study where I was conducting research on my own. So I think the major benefits for RAs are being able to experiment with different types of protocols, learn how to enter data, learn how to code and score, and sometimes run analyses, as well as looking into the literature to see how the literature supports the existing work. The other major benefit is being able to be close to a professor or form some kind of relationship. These relationships with professors might be the basis of your letters of recommendation for graduate school or even for jobs, future jobs that you may have. And I think another thing for my lab specifically, because I have a big team of research assistants, is they really get to form close relationships with each other. And I think those relationships are really valuable to the undergraduate experience. In order to become a research assistant in my lab, people just need to start by an email. That email will give me an idea of what they want to work on. When I meet with my research or potential research assistants, I give them a syllabus and an RA skills sheet, which shows the skills that I expect for research assistants to acquire in their lab experience. And I delineate what you would be learning probably in your first year and then in subsequent years if you decide to stay on with the lab. The qualities that really I look for from my research assistants are responsibility, motivation, dedication to task, ability to work independently. I think that because my lab is structured so that I have upper level research assistants training the newer research assistants, it really does bode well for people who have their own motivation and are really just motivated to excel on their own, and they don't need me micromanaging them. The students who do best are the ones who are really motivated, who really want to do research and excel beyond what I present to them in the lab. So some of my research assistants will leave with publications, and almost all of them will leave with presentations, perhaps at the Midwestern Psychological Association. When I meet with potential research assistants, what I always want to remind them is that this research that you do as an undergrad kind of lays the groundwork for any future research that you might do. So I really encourage them to find a lab that fits with their research interests. So if you want to go into neuro, then you should be looking at Dr. Yoder's lab or Dr. Kaiser's lab. You shouldn't be looking at mine where I'm dealing with personality and relationships and technology. If you want to do social, then I'd encourage you to look at Dr. Miller or Dr. Jackson or one of the social psychologist labs. So on the RA opportunities, research opportunities page on the psychology department, it will show you what each professor is currently conducting research in. That's not always updated, so if something piques your interest, it might be helpful for you to email that professor and find out a little bit more about the work that they're presently doing and if they have any room in their labs. So the biggest thing I think that's important is to find not only a researcher who suits you, who you think you might get along with, but more importantly, work that you think aligns with your future interests.
I'm Kirsty Barbier. I'm a research assistant for Dr. Drouin. I got started in her lab actually by talking to her in her Psych 100 class, and I got to learn more about what being a research assistant was by talking to her, and then I emailed her. We went ahead and set up an interview. I was really nervous to go into the interview, but everything went really well. She actually invited me to be a research assistant on her team, as she likes to call it. So the first thing we do when we get started in the lab is we actually get trained. We get trained by another research assistant who is a student, so it's really helpful because you get to see the research process from another student's perspective. You then, when you feel comfortable that you're trained and you're ready to go, you get to actually experience bringing participants into the lab and conducting the research, and I really enjoy it because I get to work with other students one-on-one and get to have that time with them in the lab. Then in addition to the research that you do, Dr. Drouin's lab is really independent, so she gives you a lot of opportunities to explore your own research interests. And actually right now we're working on a poster for MPA that we're going to be going to MPA, which is the Midwestern Psychological Association. We go to that in the spring. It's really exciting. We're working on our poster right now. You work on it with a group of other RAs, and we're all really excited to go because we're sure it's going to be a really good time. Because I feel like my experiences in the lab have been really invaluable, I would strongly encourage other students to research professors that they would like to work in their lab, find out what they're doing. Just go ahead and email them, what could it hurt? And I really think that you can get a really good experience from being a research assistant, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that's even considering maybe doing it.